land. Hey, everybody, Facebook. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me check something right here. Yeah, there we go. We're good. We're good. It's all ready to go. So good morning, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. How's everybody doing this morning? I have a day of nothingness that I'm calling it. Trying to get this thing situated right here. I think I'm just going to enjoy today in a not doing too much of anything kind of day. But good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ashton, over on TikTok. It's chilly here in Atlanta for the next few days. It's actually the perfect kind of weather. It gets up to about 60 by the afternoon or low 60s, and then at night it drops down to around 40. It's just chilly at night and chilly in the morning. Then it warms up a little bit, But hello, everybody. Come on in and say hello. And figured I'd do a little live for a few minutes and just kind of babble a little bit. I sat here, and before I go on, I look on my phone and just kind of browse through the headlines on CNN, and and it's all about, for the next 4 years, everything, hey, be heard, for the next 4 years, every day, 365 days a year, is something about Trump. No matter which news organization you turn on, because he's a media whore. He always was. He always wants to be, everything's got to be about Donald Trump. And so I see it on CNN where good morning, Abolish MAGA. It is depressing that we have to wake up with this buffoon. Let me tell y'all something. Donald Trump's an ignorant man. He's a very ignorant man. And we wake up this, I was looking on the news a few minutes ago, or just scrolling through the headlines, and y'all, let me tell y'all something. Before I get started, yesterday I was over at the Cabbage Town House working on and we've been on that corner for 27 years. And, I do realize that being so outspoken, hey, neighbor, DeBard, 10101. Hey, good morning, Donna Fry. Yeah, well, I try to speak from the heart, but being outspoken can have some maybe consequences. Now, I'm not saying this was MAGA related, but I was working at the Cabbage Town House, which is Cabbage Town's right down the street from the A1 Blueprint shop, and Ava called me and said, "Can you come up here a minute?" I said, I'm really unrattled. Somebody threw a rock through the window yesterday. And there's a window on the boulevard side that's high off the ground. You wouldn't even have to ever shut it. Like, I've left it open over the weekend or whatever in a certain time of the year. Grew up on Custard, New Moreland. Yep. Man, that place has changed a lot. If you hadn't rode through there lately, you wouldn't recognize all the thousands of townhomes they're building from Moreland all the way over to Boulevard now. But anyhow, somebody threw a rock, and it's a double pane window, meaning there's two pieces of tempered glass. And Ava's sitting there, and Ava says, "Oh my God, it sounded like a gun went off because the rock came through, and it's like 15 foot off the ground." I don't even know how they did it, but somebody threw a rock, about that big rock, threw a rock, busted out the window. But the shattering of the, good morning, Rhonda, over on Facebook, and good morning, Valerie. Well, it unnerved Ava. Well, it kind of pissed me off, and everybody handles stuff like that their own way. For me, if I'd been there, I would have immediately run out the door and try to get a glimpse of who did that, chase them down the street like a crazy man, or hop in my truck and chase them, because you can't drive fast around that area. if somebody had done it in a car, if I could have seen them pulling off or something, I would have, I don't know, probably wound up in jail. I'm too old for all that. But I'm very confrontational with stuff like that. And but anyhow, somebody threw a rock through the window, and which unnerved David, which it would unnerve anybody. And morning Seattle, best day ever out there. And somebody said, I would have paid you bond. My bud, like medieval thing. It's been like poked by Lance. Yeah. I'm trying to read, but I get off on my thing. So anyhow, I'm sitting there thinking, was it just a kind of a random homeless person? We always like to throw homeless people under the bus and say, yeah, because not so much throw them under the bus. There's a lot of mental illness on the streets across the country. And with the people that's unhoused or don't have homes or whatever the political correct term is now for that. But yeah, somebody threw a rock through the window yesterday. And, I got to thinking, I'm like, I do have a lot of followers over on some of these platforms, especially TikTok, which is well over 100,000 followers over there. So I'm like, it could be somebody, because I get on here, I'm like, you voted for Donald Trump? Yeah, buddy, you're a racist. We see you. Boy, people don't like it. They don't like it. Let me just clarify that when I say stuff like that. Some of you out there could say, well, Eddie, you voted for Democrat, then you're everything the Democrats stand for. Yeah, buddy, I am. You're like, you're a baby killer. Yeah, buddy. You're abortion. Yeah, buddy. I don't agree with everything the Democrats stand for. I'm sure there's things that I'd be like, no, but if I voted for it, I'm for it. Whether I want to be for it or not, I'm complacent and I'm supporting it. And so when I come on here and say, if you voted for MAGA, you're homophobic, you're a racist, you're a bigot, all those things, that's what you voted for. And when I would say that, the MAGA crowd supports violence, they support people being beaten with sticks. And you're like, Eddie, now I'm a godly woman. I'm a godly man. There's no way in hell you can tell me I support that kind of stuff. You voted for it. You voted for it. Why would we not think you're that kind of stuff? When you sat there on your TV and you watch them people taking flags and sticks and beating the Capitol Police, and you stood in line and you voted for that. You voted for that. The people that did that, the man that sent those people down to the Capitol to do all that stuff, you stood in line for hours and voted for that. And yet you're going to argue with me. I'm not for that. I'm for Trump. It's weird. It's weird. So you flip the thing back on me. List all the horrible things about the Democrats and say, well, Eddie, if that's the case, then you voted for X, Y, Z when you voted for Kamala Harris. Yeah, buddy. That's what we do when we vote. We pick sides. We are who we vote for. Let me say this. We are who we vote for. I am Jimmy Carter. That's who I voted for. I am Michael Dukakis. That's who I voted for. I am Kamala Harris. Yeah. I am Kamala Harris. I am who I vote for. You are who you vote for. The man that sent those people down on January the 6th to storm the Capitol and to erect hanging gallows for the vice president of the United States, that's you. That is you. If see your nose right there, I'm going to tap you on the nose here, right here. Boom. That's you. And don't quit denying it. Trying to I teach Sunday school on Sundays down here in Tallahassee, Alabama. I'm not no violent person. Who the hell you think you are coming on here and saying that kind of stuff? Boop. That's you. That's you right there. So anyhow, have we got our morning started yet? Uh, Yep, I am. I am the Liberal Party. I am the Democrat. I am Kamala Harris. I am for abortion. I am all those things that I vote for. You can't compartmentalize your vote and say, well, I just voted for him because of the price of eggs. Boy, that turned out real good for you, didn't it? That turned out real good for you. All right, the breaking news this morning says China hits back with 84% tariffs back on everything from the United States, as the stock markets are going to plunge again today. As we love you, Eddie. I am for love. You want to love, love your content. You are who you are. Yeah, we are who we vote for. And let me tell you this also, you are who you walk for. You might say, and let's take the voting analogy a step further. You might say, well, Eddie, I have a great gay grandson or a lesbian granddaughter. I am not homophobic. Let me tell you this. If you go to an evangelical church and you put $1, just $1 in that support of that organization, you are homophobic. You are who you support. You can't compartmentalize that. You're like, no, I'm open. I'm accepting of my son that's gay. But you go to an evangelical church. You're homophobic, and your money supports homophobia across this world, to go in other nations and to carry homophobia around the world. You are who you support. You are who you walk with. You are who you vote for. So, I wasn't planning on any of this morning. I guess it's the Holy Ghost, y'all. So anyhow, when I was reading over there before I signed on, the string of headlines this morning is China hits back. And then I seen where John Bolton, National Security Advisor to Donald Trump's first term, he said this is a big win for China, because China is becoming an economic giant around the world anyway. You know, folks, they got well over 1 billion people in China, and it's a huge labor market. And John Bolton saying one of the most conservative Republicans in the history, more conservative than Dick Cheney or any of them. He's saying it's a big opportunity for China to get a greater piece of the market and to. So what he's basically saying, what they're saying is Donald Trump is stupid to do this. They are also forced birthers. They'd rather see a woman forced into birth than have an abortion, Michelle says over on Facebook. Yeah, so anyhow, y'all, when somebody I thought about this, and I don't want to dwell too much on it because, it invite other stuff, but I thought about when somebody threw a rock through the window at the shop yesterday. I'm like, my God, would that really be somebody who watches me online that drove up from Carrollton, Georgia or something, said, we'll drive by that shop. We'll show that mother, what we think about him, and throw a rock through the window. And people's like, because I'm going to tell you, the MAGA crowd are a very violent and dangerous group of people. They're very hate-filled. And you're like, Eddie, there you go again, God damn it. There you go again. You're lumping me in that crowd with those people up there on January the 6th. That's who you voted for. That's who you voted for. Boop. That's who you voted for. That's who you are. You are who you vote for. I am, you find the most horrible things you can say about the Democrats. And you say, that's who you are, Eddie. That's who I am. I stand with them. I voted for them. I can't run from it. I can't hide from it. That's who I voted for. Boop. And there you go as you get all in a tizzy. So Rhonda says, but they show up on church. I'm so goddamn sick of church folks, y'all. This Trump election, for the last 2 elections, I am so goddamn sick of church going fuckers, that just have preached all this morality and sanctity to all of us, and the sanctity of life. And some of y'all don't even go back this. There was this guy John Edwards, ran for the Democratic Party nomination back several years ago. And he was having this affair on his wife then, who had cancer. Oh, these MAGA people were outraged. They were so outraged at Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. They've been preaching to us about how sinful and derelict and un-American and unpatriotic we have been for decades. And then to come to find out they were the scum of the earth, the scum of the barrel. These goddamn church-going people that love Donald Trump. The epitome. If you was going to be a Christian and you read the entire Bible, and you would find out, according to Scripture, Donald Trump is the epitome of everything that Christ could never be. Worthless, vengeful, seedy, shady, a liar. All these things that Christianity actually built upon the principles of. And these people that have preached to us about, it's a sin to be a homosexual. Oh, God's not pleased with you if you're a gay person. Oh, if you're a trans person, you're wicked. All these high and righteous and almighty people that have preached to us all these years about the sanctity of being I've got answers on something. I don't have a way to stop the phones from calling. That's preached to us all these years. And then to come to find out what a bunch of scumbags these people were. What a bunch of scumbags these people turned out to be. And now they're intent on sitting back and watching this lunatic that's in the White House destroy our economy. The economy that was the strongest, probably more job creation, stronger than any economy in the history of the United States over the last 4 years, that Joe Biden had took from Donald Trump's first term, where he had run it in the gutter, tens of thousands of businesses closed, millions of people dead. And he had mismanaged so much about it. Joe Biden got us back on the right track, going steadily, growing. There was growth every month. People hired. And now here we are going into the toilet, going into the tank over a bunch of people that are in a cult and worship this man. Good Lord. Now they say Elon's falling out with them, because I heard somebody say yesterday, that a Tesla, that part of it's made in Canada, part of it's made in the US, part of it's made in Thailand, part of it's made in China, and it's made in about 7 to come together, these different parts, and to make one Tesla. And he doesn't like the tariffs. So he's had a falling out with the Trump administration over the tariffs. So anyhow, there's that. But y'all, let me ask y'all this. So when our company gets, they get argued on TikTok. I don't fool with all that. But let me ask y'all this. Where is the good news in any of this? Where is the good news at? All these MAGA white Christian nationalists that's full of shit. Where is the good news for the country? Well, how is the country better? How is the country moving forward? How are people's 401ks and their retirements? I'm out of the news loop now. I've given up on legacy news. MSNBC, CNN, Fox, all that is a bunch of bullshit, y'all. I can get news better from somebody sitting on their back porch and reading a paper in Tennessee somewhere and tell me what's going on with some of these legacy. These same people that own CNN, these big time stockholders on the MSNBC, CNN, all these, they're big Trump people. They support Trump. They've lost all credibility to me. ABC settling lawsuits. George Stephanopoulos made a comment. They're all big Trump people. They're a bunch of rich billionaires. If you're ever down in Miami, and you sit on the balcony of a Ritz-Carlton like I did, and you look out over that harbor, a Ball Harbor, and you see all these $1 million yachts all over the waterways down there. That's all the big Trumpers down there, counting their millions of dollars they have put off shores in the Cayman Islands, places like that. So, but where is the good news? I want you to notice when you watch the news in the next few days, where's the good news? Where is things getting better? Because the country seems to really be off the rails right now. I keep saying that this thing could go off the rails real bad. I'm going to quit saying that part of it now and just say the things have gone off the rails real bad. Hold on to your seats. What Betty Davis said on that scene of that movie. It's going to be a long, bumpy ride, y'all. But yeah, all these Christian people that set their little asses in church for all these years, holding their little Bibles and singing "Victory in Jesus," telling the rest of us about how sanctified and Holy Ghost filled they are, and come to find out they were all full of shit. They were all just full of shit, faking it. Just a pretense, So, yeah, so I guess I got that out of the way this morning. Other than that, how's everybody doing this morning? How's everybody doing this morning now that I've had? That's why I probably shouldn't read the news. Let me see right here. So then another headline on CNN said Trump brags that other countries are kissing my ass over tariffs. Is that what this is about? I tell you what, he likes his booty hole kissed a lot, don't he? Now he's bragging other countries are wanting to kiss his ass over tariffs. All this stuff has backfired. What it's done. He thought he could bully. Call me D65. Hi, Eddie. I was just wondering why I haven't seen you. Did you and Ava go to the protest? No, we didn't. Matter of fact, I didn't know it was even protests going on. I've been so out of the loop until somebody asked me Friday, said, "Are you going to the protest tomorrow?" I'm like, "What protest?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're protests." I seen earlier from Ireland, Rosie O'Donnell said that the protests were being covered in Europe, but not so much here in America. That's why I was saying that about CNN and MSNBC and Fox. Yeah, they're all the same people. They're owned by big time Trump people, oligarchs, big money people. And so other outlets. Another one coming up in April. From what I've heard, they're going to start doing them about every 2 or 3 weeks across the country. Another lost bitter. Terry Deep says, "I'm another lost bitter person that is blind. You find peace and happiness someday." Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please pray for me, brother. Who was that? Brother Terry. Yeah, you pray for me, hon. Bless your sweet name. In Jesus' name, I pray for you too, that you'll get right with the Lord before you die. Said Rachel Maddow was covering the protest. I got the news from England and Canada. I get news from someone on here. I don't pay attention to any of the ones that I always share. Rachel covered every protest around the country. Good for Rachel Maddow. Yeah. And that's funny though, like these people on TikTok said, "Oh, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I'm just an anti-Trumper." These people that drink the Kool-Aid like to tell people they drank the Kool-Aid. Isn't it funny? I find them hilarious. They're full of shit, but you can't help but laugh at the ignorance of them and the stupidity of them. How somebody's like, I'm going to show you the typical Trump supporter. Somebody said, "Oh my God, I'm just outraged. These eggs are $3.79 a dozen. How dare Joe Biden, that son of a bitch, God damn him, these eggs. He should have not let eggs get so high." And then they look up, in 2 days, they lost $20,000 in their 401k. And they're like, "Oh, that Donald Trump." Now, boom, he's a sweetheart, isn't he? They're ignorant, ain't they? Just a bunch of ignorant people. Good heaven. So anyway, y'all, we are in these times that we're living through. We don't know which way this bus is heading, but we do know this, that our country is under attack. democracy is very much under attack. One branch of government, the Supreme Court, has already collapsed and give way. Um, uh, and we got a Speaker of the House that's about as close to being I don't know. I don't know what that Mike guy is, Speaker of the House. Yeah, so just the whole MAGA political scene in Washington, you just get the idea that it's creepy, very creepy, y'all. So anyway, y'all, that's about all I got to say. If you're waiting for gas to go down and eggs to go, well, I'm going to tell you something. Gas, I'm going to make this prediction right here. Gas is going to go way down because you know why? When an economy collapses, people are not filling up their cars no more. People are not taking vacations no more. People are not taking road trips no more. So I can tell you this, as this economy goes further and further off the rails, yeah, gas might get down to $1.29 a gallon. Who knows? Because ain't nobody buying it. It's just sitting there. And, during COVID, gas got real cheap because there was no cars on the road. Everybody was home. Yeah, and then there's over here a lot of people are boycotting our country now, not coming to it. I mean, my God, did we have to make Canadians feel like the Canadians just like shit on America? We're not going to go spend our dollars in America no more. I mean, did we have to really do that, Canadian? I know you Christian people out there, you sweet Baptist people and Pentecostal people that love Donald Trump, y'all don't care, but did y'all really have to do that to the Canadians? I mean, my God, what have they ever done to y'all? Good heavens. Yeah, it's pretty trying time. So anyhow, other than that, I'm going to get out here and fiddle in my garden a little bit this morning, and I would tell us this also. We compartmentalize different parts of our life. I think he's demented. Michelle said Trump's suffering from dementia. Yeah, that would be, to me, that's okay. But to me, demented and dementia is two different things. He's such a narcissist. Yeah, he's just, he's not a good person. I'm going to tell y'all. Just as an older Southern man that's been down a few roads in my life, most Southern people can spot a fake and a fraud from a mile down the road. Trump's just, he's not a good person. He would steal money right out of your pocket. He'd beat you out of $5 if he could figure out how to beat you out of $5. That kind of thing. He's just not a good person. So, Grandma Jackie says, I wouldn't come to America if I wasn't already here. So, but anyway, y'all, so we compartmentalize our disgust. I think that's the word I feel more than anything about where the country's at right now. I'm disgusted by the president. I'm disgusted by these people that you would meet them out in public and they're so sweet and kind, and they voted for violence. Boop. They voted for people killing people at the Capitol on January the 6th. And then they went and stood in line, and that's like, they look in the mirror and they're like, that's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I vote for. Boop. It's weird. It's weird. Until Trump came along, I did not know these people were so filled with so much un-Americanism and hate and homophobia and bigotry and racist. My God, I've been reading all these things where they took General Colin Powell and Medgar Evers' name off the directory at the Arlington National Cemetery, where people can't even figure out where they're born, where their grave site's at. That's you that voted for that. Boop. You. I mean, my goodness. I read yesterday where the people that published the school manuals for the state of Florida took out the reason Rosa Parks protested sitting on the back of the bus was because of racism. They erased all evidence of racism about that. and took it out of their school books. And then you sit there and you say, well, Eddie, I'm not a racist. I've got black people in my family. Well, you're an ignorant person. If you say you're not a racist, but I vote for racists, you are who you vote for. Boop. Yeah. So, yeah, there's some real wackadoodles over here on TikTok. Some of these comments over on TikTok's coming through, these MAGA people. Oh my God. You talking about some wackadoodles. Wackadoodles. I mean, my God, there's some crazy y'all, there's some crazy people in this world. Anyhow, let me get out here. I did my 30 minutes, got my little TikTok in. It's kind of weird though. Loved by some, hated by some. Boy, I can stir up some hate in them, can't I? You know, the truth always did make the devil mad. Hey, TikTok over there. TikTok over there. I'm gonna close with this. I'm gonna close with this analogy. My Granny Bratcher, Holy Ghost Pentecostal, tongue talking, prophetess, always did make this. She said, you know, the truth always did make the devil mad. She would say that, and boy, people would they didn't like it because she was calling them the devil, basically. You know, Jesus looked at Simon Peter one time. He said, get thee behind me, Satan. Called Simon Peter, Satan. People don't like to be called the devil. I guess you can call them a cult, and you can call them all kind of names. They don't like to be called the devil. Granny Butcher said, the truth always did make the devil mad. Boop, makes you mad, don't it? Because you know you're full of the devil, and you're full of shit to go along with it. If you think that you could go vote for all this foolishness and then run back to your little front porch and sit on it, prop your legs up, sit there in your rocking chair and watch the country going to hell in a breadbasket, and your ass sat there and you did this. Boop. Anyhow, let me get out of here. I done piss some people off. Anyhow, y'all have a good day. Love y'all.